Welcome to Living Life in the End for the Successful and Fulfilled Woman. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes, the Liberated Lawyer. I help women to get everything they desire in life by equipping them with powerful strategies to achieve the fulfillment they desire and deserve. Who said you can't have it all? Clearly, they did not know about living life in the end. When women make powerful decisions and create great strategies, they can have everything they desire in life. Girlfriend, forget about choosing between being successful or fulfilled. You can be successful and fulfilled. It's time. It's time for you to get everything you desire and deserve. It's time for you to live your life on purpose. It's time for you to live a life that is fulfilled, meaningful, and full of joy. It's time for you to walk boldly in the power of your decisions. If you are going to be in this world, you need to be fulfilled in this life. Life is too long to be unfulfilled. Join me for another episode of Living Life in the End, where you learn how to live fulfilled, fit, and free. This episode was brought to you by the Successful and Fulfilled Woman New You Transformation, a VIP day for the high-achieving woman who is ready to be successful and fulfilled. If you are a woman who feels burned out and uninspired, or you are a woman ready to start over after a divorce, death, or other disruption, or you are a mother whose children are ready to leave the nest or are already gone, and you are now ready to create a meaningful life for yourself, or you are a woman who's approaching your golden years and you want the next half to be the best half, or you are a woman who's ready to get more out of life and ready to stop marking time and start living life, then we need to have a revelation conversation. Go to www.everythingideserve.com to schedule your complimentary revelation conversation, where together we will talk about where you are now and where you want to be, and begin to develop a plan to get you where you desire to be. You will leave your revelation conversation understanding the first thing that you can start doing today to begin living a successful and fulfilled life. Hey, it's time. It's time for Musing from the Mind of Dr. SDB, where I share provocative thoughts to help you live your life in the end. Girl, I've got something on my mind. I was going back through some notes the other day and looked through my notes and ran across some sermon notes that I took from a sermon series I attended at this point over 15 years ago. Old notes, but still relevant. And I thought about how relevant this is to the concept of living life in the and. And the series was on living life with an owner's mentality. And, I jotted down some notes. And as I was thinking about what it means to live life in the and, I thought about how these messages connected and how important it is for us to really ask this question of ourselves. We only have one life to live, technically. We're only here once. We don't know how long that is. And it is indeed our life. And you always hear me say life is too long to live unfulfilled. And as we are living this one life that we have, it's important for us to ask ourselves and be honest, are we living this life like we're an owner, or are we living this life like we are a renter? So let's dive into ownership versus renters mentality. And when you think about an owner, if you own your own home, if your name is on the deed, you're responsible for everything, you tend to approach that property with greater significance. Owning something means you possess it, you have a right to it, you hold it, and it is yours, and it can't be taken away from you unless you go through some type of process where you relinquish the rights, but you own it. And when we think about renting, we occupy it, but we don't own it. It's ours. Our stuff is in there, but it does not belong to us. We do not have a right to it beyond the terms of the lease that we hold. And when you think about your life, are you living this one life that you have as if it is yours? You have a right to it. You have sovereignty over it. Or are you living this life as if you are just kind of occupying it for a while, but it doesn't really belong to you? And when you live your life with a renter's mentality, you may not be as vested in the overall improvement of your life because it's not yours. I'm just here. I'm just kind of occupying this space for a small time, and I'm just going to do what I need to do to stay in this space. Because, a renter can't really renovate, they can't really improve. They have to live within the space and with the things they've been given. Like sometimes you can paint, you can definitely put up artwork on the wall. You definitely, of course, have your own furniture, but you don't really own it. You can't really make significant investments in it because if you do, you don't get the benefit of that investment. The owner does. And a lot of us, y'all, are living our lives like we just renting it, like we just here. We just here for a little piece of time, and we just gonna breathe in this little body and breathe in this little life, but it doesn't really belong to us. We relinquish the agency that we have to create and expand and improve the life that we have. So I want us to switch to the perspective of living our lives like we are the owner that we are. Because the truth is, you are not renting your body, you are not renting your life. It is yours. It is yours. And it is so important for us to recognize that even though, of course, we live in a world that has laws, we live in relation to and in relation with other people. If we're in a relationship, we are existing, within that human structure, if you will. We have a family, we have a mother, we have parents, mother, father, parents, grandparents, etc. We have people that we exist with. But none of those people own our lives, not even the person to whom we're married. And definitely, once you are grown, your parents don't own your life. You do. You are responsible for the kind of life you have and the kind of life you don't. And I think so many times we we digress to a renter's mentality, and we think that we have to live within the terms of a lease. We can't expand. We must only operate within the structure that we're given. We can't color outside the lines. We can't change. We can't innovate. We just got to do what we've been told to do, or what we're expected to do, or what society expects of us. And the truth is, we are owners. And so, yes, we can take those societal expectations and the wishes and desires of others into account, but we own our lives. We are responsible for increasing the value of the life that we have. We have paid for our life with our experiences, our emotions, our intelligence, our accomplishments, and we owe it to ourselves to increase the value of these investments. Because owners invest in their homes. Renters just put things in there. If you buy furniture and put it in the leased dwelling, the value of that building does not increase. The value of that structure doesn't increase. It's just some adornments that you have added to this dwelling. But if you invest in it and you renovate it and you upgrade it, then you are increasing the value of that structure. And so we've got to be willing to renovate our lives and give ourselves the upgrade we desire. And sometimes this upgrade comes in the form of improving our health and wellness. Sometimes this upgrade comes in the form of improving our education by getting a degree or certification or just learning a new skill, not necessarily formal education, but empowering our minds to expand. Sometimes this renovation comes in the form of regenerating a mindset that allows us to fully own and be responsible for this life that we've been blessed to have. Because regardless of what we set out to do in life, at the foundation of everything we do is our mindset. And it is important for us to continuously upgrade our mindset so that we are able to expand and increase the value of this existence that we have. So, with an owner's mentality, you take full responsibility for the direction of your life, because I believe your life is the product of your choices. I also believe that our ability to expand lies in the power of our choices. And because we have choices, we are always powerful. But if we're not using our choices to expand and to renovate and to upgrade our lives, we will allow our choices to devalue, decrease the value of our lives, and to allow our lives to fall to ruin. So we have to think about being an owner and embracing renovation. And renovation, typically includes modernizations, refreshing, and renewing. We have to modernize our lives and give up old habits and learn new skills. We have to refresh our lives by continuously programming our minds to be in control of our property, to be in control of our lives, to refresh our attitudes, and to refresh our outlook on the possibilities in our lives. And then we have to renew. We have to be transformed. We have to literally do things that allow us to regenerate energy and momentum and enthusiasm and outcomes. So, as an owner, we are committed to continuously growing our investment. Because if you get to a point where you have become complacent or you have allowed your life to go to ruin in all those different degrees, or you've just allowed your life to just become stagnant. And the truth is, stagnancy eventually eventually becomes decay because the natural course of life requires continuous refreshing and renewal and regeneration. And if we can look at it from the perspective of just the importance of eating. If I eat a good breakfast in the morning and by the afternoon, that food that I've fueled my body with has run its natural course and all the energy has been taken out of it, and I don't regenerate my fuel source, eat more good food in the afternoon, I become hungry. And if I continue in that state, eventually my body will break down and I will cease to be alive. I have to continuously feed my body. We have to continuously feed our minds and spirits and our dreams. And we have to do it from the perspective of ownership and not mere renter's mentality. Because a renter, you have good renters, and this is not to be disparaging at all about renters. But, a renter is going to do exactly what's required to maintain the space because they don't own it. They're just, it doesn't make sense for a renter to upgrade something that doesn't belong to them. But it's important for us to recognize that the responsibility of an upgrade is actually the privilege of ownership. Now, I'm going to tell you, there are a lot of times when I look around this house and I think about some upgrades I need to make, I'm not really thinking about, oh, it's a privilege for me to have to cough up this money to replace this or to fix that or to buy a new this. It doesn't feel like a privilege. It feels like a burden, you know? But the end result is whatever I put into this house, I get it out. If I sell it one day and I keep it up and I maintain it and I upgrade it, I get the value back. But even if I keep it for the rest of my life, I get the value of the increase and being able to experience it as I live here. So sometimes the privileges of ownership look and feel like burdens, but they really are privileges. And we are privileged to be blessed with the power of choice and free will. We have free will, and that is a privilege that empowers us if we use it to continuously upgrade our lives. Because we have free will to do stupid things just as we have free will to do exceptionally smart things. And it is up to us to choose which path we're going to pursue. And the other thing that we have to do as an owner, and the other responsibility that we have as an owner, is to get squatters off of our property. And squatters, that's a legal term actually, that describes people who act like they own your property and inhabit it and take up residence and act as if they are the owners when they have no legal right at all. But here's the other thing to remember about squatters. If squatters remain on your property for a certain period of time out in the open and uncontested, eventually, do you know they can take your property? So it's called adverse possession. That's the legal term for it. But that is where a property owner allows another person to use their property out in the open for a certain period of time without contesting it, and if they allow that to happen uninterrupted and consecutive for a certain period of time, then that person, that squatter, can claim an ownership. And this is one of the most egregious occurrences that we allow in our life. We allow people, things, influences, the media to squat on our property, and we relinquish ownership because we don't do anything to get these trespassers off our property. And so we have to ensure that we are continuously scanning our property, and we're continuously aware of who's living rent-free in our head. Who's living rent-free in your head right now? There is somebody or something that is living rent-free in your head and convincing you that you don't deserve to be fulfilled, and convincing you that the desire to be fulfilled is something that's silly, or something that some young person ought to have, or something that you don't deserve, and something that you need to replace with hard work and suffering. There are beliefs that are squatting in your life and telling you that you can't do this. You're too old to do this. You're not old enough to do that. You don't look the right way. You have the wrong color skin. You have the wrong color hair, or wrong kind of hair, wrong texture of hair. You live in the wrong part of town. There are pervasive squatters that are trying to tell you that you don't belong in your own life. And you're letting them do it. You're letting them do it. And so it's time for you to take a stance today and tell the squatters to get off your property. It's time for you to put up the no trespassing sign. It's time for you to put up the fence that keeps the squatters from coming onto your property. It's time for you to remove the squatters out of your life. And so I ask you, or challenge you, to ask yourself, who or what is squatting on your life right now? What belief, what person, what toxic relationship, what draining job, what bad habits? Because y'all, let me just stop right there and say, some of the time, the squatting that's going on, we sent the squatters there. We invited them. We opened it up for them to come onto our property. And now we talking about you are devaluing my property, when it's our own habits that are squatting on the life we desire and deserve. So ask yourself, what are the squatters on your property today? Who are the squatters in your life? And what are you going to do to protect your life from being overtaken by someone who does not own it? What are you going to do? Because the truth is, as in law, if you don't actively contest the squatters that are taking up space on your property, eventually you will give your property over to them. And you won't be able to remove them, because your life will become theirs. So this is an important aspect to embrace, to be honest about. Sometimes the squatters are perfection. I've done a whole episode on how perfection robs you of your purpose. Go back and listen to it. But perfection, insecurity, fear, anxiety, doubt, mental illness, physical illness, all of these things are squatters that take away from the value of your life. You have the ability to impact your health just as you have the ability to impact your mental wellness. It's important for you to be honest about how you are treating this life that is yours, and to be honest about the squatters that are robbing you of peace, robbing you of joy, and robbing you of the life you desire and deserve. So today is the day for you to take action and get these squatters off your property. When you really embrace the fact that you are the CEO of your life, you own your life. It is indeed your life. The your pronoun is not accidental. It's not superficial. It's not ancillary. It is the operative word. This is your life. If you do not have the life you desire and deserve, you need to do something about it. And you and only you are the person who's going to change your life. So if your mama and daddy told you that you need to be this kind of profession and you want to be another, guess who has the power to change? You do. My daddy wanted me to be an engineer. And he kept telling me how I needed to be an engineer. As a matter of fact, I thought I wanted to be an engineer for a while because that's what he told me I needed to be because engineers made good money and I needed to be an engineer. And I wanted to go to Tuskegee and be an engineer. And I didn't get a full scholarship to Tuskegee. I got a partial scholarship. I got a full scholarship to Mississippi State University. And I went to Mississippi State with the intent of becoming an engineer. I was going to be a chemical engineer, as a matter of fact. And I went to sign up for my classes and looked at that curriculum. And I'm like, ain't no way. Ain't no way I'm taking 4 semesters of physics. Ain't no way. And then the more I thought about engineering, I don't have nothing against engineers, but that's just not me. That's not my personality. That's not how I'm wired. And fortunately, I recognized that early on and I changed my major. I changed my major 8 times. I was kind of laugh on that. And I can look back and laugh on it because I changed my major 8 times, but I graduated on time. Yes, I did. I graduated in 4 years, not 4, 4. But lest I digress, that was, I think, or not I think, that is one of the first instances where I realized that even though my dad had great intentions for me and he was encouraging me to embark upon a career that would be financially and professionally rewarding, I'm so glad that I had the wisdom to see that that path was not my path. It was a great path, but not the great path for me. And so some of us we grown as women, and we're still following the path that was set for us by our parents. And they mean well, most of them. They want what's best for us. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes we have parents who are hurting, and hurting people hurt others. We have parents who are dysfunctional and broken and don't know how to love without breaking us further. Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes we have parents who've not been able to live the fullness of their lives, and they use that as a weapon to keep you from experiencing the fullness of your life. You better take them to get some therapy or some medications and get some therapy and medications for yourself and get your life on the track that you desire. We don't owe our lives to anyone. not even our parents. And our parents may have had the most successful marriage, the most successful career, the most successful this or that. But you know what? It was their lives. And we can try and replicate everything they did, and it won't work because we're trying to fit ourselves into a mold that belongs to someone else. You have to live your life. And it's not too late. If you've been living with a rented mentality or allowing squatters to influence how your life has developed until this point, today is the day. Today is the day to get those squatters off. Today is the day to reclaim your property. And the day is the day to step into the fullness of your responsibility for your life. Being a successful and fulfilled woman means living life on your terms. It means living the life that you desire and you deserve. It means tapping into the power of your choices to create a life that was meant for you. So today is the day, y'all. Today is the day. Put up those no trespasser signs. Put up that fence. Kick them people off your property because this is your life and you deserve to live it with liberty and peace and joy and fulfillment. You deserve to embrace the full ownership rights to the life that you have. So I hope that today you take charge of your property. You take charge of your life. You have the key to your life. You have the key to your life. And as long as you hold the key, you'll never be a prisoner. And you know what that key is? The power of your choices. You always have the power of your choices. And because you have the power of choices, you will never not be free. So let me say that differently. Because you have the power of choice, you always have the power to be free. Today is today. Today is the day for you to reclaim ownership of your life and renovate, modernize, refresh, renew, and stake a claim assertively, confidently, fully, freely in your life and create the life you desire and deserve. Well, that's all I have to say about that. Thank you for joining me for another Musing from the Mind of Dr. SDB, where I share poignant thoughts to help you live your life again. I hope you learned something. I hope you felt something. But girl, most of all, I hope you do something. Fulfillment won't happen because you desire it.